All right, we are live. Hi, it's Tori Magoo. My Tori Chrisman, but my YouTube site is Tori Magoo 44. And while I wait for a few people to see if they come, I'm going to read some more of my SP declare because we never finished it, did we? We haven't even got to the juicy part yet. She's publicly disavowed Scientology by her own acts and may not receive the benefits of the codes of the church. Aww. Aren't I feeling awful about that? Okay, suppressive acts are clearly those covert and overt acts knowingly calculated to reduce or destroy the influence or activities of Scientology or prevent case gain or continued Scientology successes and activities on the part of a Scientologist. Okay, so they see, even if, hey, hi guys, good, you're coming on. Hello. Hi, Cindy. Hi, JB. Thank you for coming. Hey, there we go. Hi. Hi, Flatlines. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are coming on. I'm reading a little bit about my SP Declare, and I'm going to read a little bit more just so that we get what I just read. It's like basically saying any suppressive acts are clearly those either covert, which is like behind your back, or overt, and they do a lot of stuff covert. So just so you know, and overt acts knowingly calculated to reduce or destroy the influence or activities of Scientology. So let's just take that sentence right there. The Windy Sydney Thetan Watch. All right, I love it. These guys are coming on. It's good. I'm really happy. It's the Midnight with Magoo. All right, so I'm reading my SP Declare. I'm reading a little bit of it each night till some of you guys come on, because otherwise, then everyone's still coming on. So, and I want to get through this thing anyway. So basically, what it means is suppressive acts. Like if you think about it, they're clearly doing suppressive acts against us. Swatting is a suppressive act against people, right? They'll say, well, you can't prove that's us. Well, it just happens to be all around the Church of Scientology, right? And the people that are protesting are around the Church of Scientology, and thus the swatting happens. And if you don't know what swatting is, ask me because I'll tell you. Let's see. No, wait. Benefits, snitching, and outbound money flow. I'm not sure what you're asking. You gotta make it a real sentence, or it's just sort of like benefits, snitching, and outbound money flow. I don't know what you're asking. Do they have benefits? I'm talking about the suppressive acts. That's what we're talking about right now. So they basically do these suppressive acts. They say for us, if we're exposing their abuses, that's a suppressive act. It isn't. They shouldn't be doing those things. In Scientology, if you're listening, you shouldn't be doing those things. Nor should you be supporting an organization that does human rights violations, which Scientology does all the time. Stopping free speech is a human rights violation. Breaking up families is a human rights violation. Medical abuse is frankly a human rights violation that they did with me. Fair game is a human rights violation. It's violations on humans. And Hubbard said, fair game is you can lie, cheat, steal, destroy someone utterly, right? If they say anything bad about L. Ron Hubbard or the Church of Scientology, that's what fair game is. So they do fair game all the time. And that they don't consider that a suppressive act, even though they're supporting it and doing it. Okay. So the next thing are all my evil actions that I've done, and you have to come to the next thing for me to tell you my evil actions. And the truth of it is, for my SP Declare, I had already told everybody all the crazy things that I've done in my life because my dad was a celebrity. We were with someone who was a really big celebrity. And I asked my parents, what's going on? And they said, oh, someone's, I forget the word, but it's like they're basically using them to get more money, and embezzling, I think. Is that it? Is that the right word? Anyway, they're using them in a bad way. And secrets that they have, they're going to expose if they don't pay them so much money. And that day, I remember thinking, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to have to go through this with somebody. No. I'd gone to dinner a few times with these people, and I just thought, this is awful. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to tell people this is me. This is what I've done. Take it or leave it. You don't like me, see you around. Because if that's who I am, right? And so I've already told people all the crazy stuff I've done. Now I leave and they don't have anything to put on the SP Declare. So they have to make up all this shit. So when I get into that, you'll see. But it's like, it's just stuff that they made up because they don't, the people inside have already heard my story, right? And so they're like, well, wait a minute. She never mentioned this. And, so anyway, you'll see. We'll get to it eventually. All right. So, hi, Patrick Skinner. Thank you for coming on. And Okie dokie. And Saul, hey, good to see you guys. Thank you. And I apologize if there's anything I'm doing wrong. People keep writing me on I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. And it's like, I think, Patrick, you wrote me and said, don't put your finger on the camera. And believe me, if I knew I was, I wouldn't. And I'll try to remember it because you said it. But it's one of those things where it's just tricky for me. I'm not used to, I'm just not used to holding all the things that I have to hold and film at the same time. I'm not even used to the camera. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, am I filming me or you? That kind of thing. So I'm getting there, but you got to kind of bear with it. And I can't say I'm the best for that. I'm not. I mean, I would follow Jessica or DOA, something like that. I mean, I'm happy if you guys come, but I don't want you, if you're like ticked off, I don't want that, because you just have to know it's a learning phase. That's all there is to it. Okay. So you do you, Tori, it's your stream. Okay. Yeah. That's not on the stream. I'm not talking about on the stream. I'm talking about, outside doing stuff. Because I was trying to film and I had my finger over the camera. Thank you for helping me get the clear cog correct. All right. On DOA's chat. Yeah. Yeah. The clear cognition is, Hubbard, first of all, puts into your head that and I'm going to say this more than once, so don't be offended if I've said it before, but he puts it into your head, you have a reactive mind and an analytical mind, right? And Dianetics is supposed to erase your reactive mind, which is all your painful moments and upsets. So now you do Dianetics and you're running out all these incidents and all of a sudden, finally, one day, you go, I think I'm just creating this myself in my mind. I'm just creating my own reactive mind. And literally they go like this, would you like to attest a clearer? And you want to go, that's fucking it. I've spent all these years doing this or months or whatever it is you are. And then to find out that's the clear cognition, it's amazing. So anyway, yeah, that is it. Okay. I just realized I'm mocking up creating my own reactive mind and I'm not doing it anymore. Well, I don't know about the not doing it anymore, but I think that's part of it. Yeah, I made it my favorite TED Talk of the day. Love from Australia. Okay. Okay. You made what your favorite TED Talk? Because I'd like to know that. What's your favorite TED Talk? Well played. Okay. Good one. Carrie said, you gave me pneumonia because we talked about OT3. Hi, Tori. Hello, chatters. That's right. That's part of OT3. I forgot to add that Hubbard says, if you ever tell anyone before they've gone up the bridge to total freedom, until they're like way up here where they're ready to hear OT3, they will get pneumonia and they very well could die. So, people are like, well, I don't want to give somebody pneumonia. Yeah, but it's kind of funny because everybody knows about it. But when you don't know about it and you're in the Truman Show, it's pretty weird. So anyway, today I was going to talk to you guys about the study tech. Scientology. Oh, I'm your TED Talk. Okay, good. Thank you. That's a compliment. I like that. Today I'm going to talk to you about study tech because study tech is a very beginning thing that you learn in Scientology. And it's probably the reason Tom Cruise got in Scientology, and it's the reason that he stays in Scientology. I mean, part of staying it, I'm sure, is being with Miscavige and all the whining and dining and everything else. But the study tech was a big deal for him because he has dyslexia, which, if you don't know what that is, look it up. But I think you basically say words out of order or you spell words out or letters out of order, that kind of thing. I have it a little bit where I do it. So Study tech originally, when I did it in 1969, it was nice. I liked it. You know, it was one of those things where, first of all, the number one thing I loved is it's a check sheet. So a check sheet is just steps that you have to do until you're done. And then when you're done, that's it. And you attest, right? But it's for me, it was really great because I was used to being in classes where things went really fast and I might not get it. And then I'd be like, you know, can I ask a question, you know, kind of thing. And you always feel like you're slowing down the class kind of thing. So someone just said, love it. Hi. Okay. I guess love it is here. I didn't see her. Pardon me. I just texted her that I was going to be on here. All right. Is she here? She might have a secret line with this person. I don't see her. Okay, well, anyway, love it. If you're here, thank you for coming. I haven't seen you yet, but I know I will. Oh, I see. I've been thinking of you and miss you, you beautiful. Okay, so she's been thinking of her. Okay, all right. Yeah. She hopefully will come on. I had sent her a little text and said, I'm going to go on. And I understand that, you know, 'cause she's busy. Toria's today's talk, the midnight with Magoo. All right. So anyway, the first thing is the check sheet. That was number one for me. I loved it. You can go at your own rate. You can go as fast as you want. You can go as slow as you want. There you go. That's number one. Number two is they have word clearing where you know, well, they have you check out. Let's say you read something about, let's see, ARC, which is Affinity Reality Communication. Well, now they have someone else check you out and they go, okay, Patrick, what's the definition of affinity? And you have to say what it is. And if it's right, good. If it's not, you get a flunk and you have to look it up. And, you know, maybe they have like what they call demo kits. That was the other thing I loved. A lot of people don't like them, but I loved them. You can either use like something like this. Let me see. Something like this. See, those are just like little paper clips, right? See, there's my little paper clip holder. So you can either use something like that, or I ended up having a whole little thing that I kept them in, and I had all kinds of cool stuff in there, and I really liked it. And so you demonstrate it out, because Hubbard said a lot of times people can't visualize something, and so they can't get it, right? But if you demonstrate it out, you will be able to see it. And that's very true for me. Some people aren't that visual, but I'm very visual. So for me, it really helped me. So there's that. So you've got the demo kits. They have you check out the word. Now you know, all right, what's the definition of affinity? You give it to them again. Okay, pass. So let's go on. So now you're reading this thing. And if you stumble, again, they go, all right, that's it. You know, what word did you not understand? And usually there is a word that you didn't understand. So now you got to look it up. And for many people, you know, now it would be a pain in the ass because it's too much. But then it was just, I don't know, it was something new and it was a new way of studying and it was interesting to me. So you've got the check sheets, you've got, you know, getting checked out, clearing words, which ended up being a nightmare because they went from just clearing the words to now you've got by OT7, you know, which is like up at the top of the triangle, you had to clear the word, you had to know the derivation of it, you know, any of the words in the definition. I mean, it just went on and on and on. It was really something. It really was. And so it got much worse. But same with the original communication course was very good. But by the end, it was not so good. So anyway, that's the way it is. It just evolved. And just like now, I mean, that stuff you see that Scientology is nothing like what we were in Scientology in the early, I was in 69 and the early 70s. And it was fun. I mean, it was like a lot of fun. Granted, there was shit stuff that went on behind the scenes, I'm sure. But for a lot of people, we share stories all the time that are funny stories from back then because it was just funny. It was just a different vibe than it is now. It's more like Nazi-like now. For me, that's the way I see it. They're not having a good time. You can tell. You can look at the CR. They're not having a good time. That's right. Affinity, reality, and communication equals understanding. That's right. That's the ARC triangle. That was Hubbard's thing. And the weirdest thing is it's supposed to be, this is a fact. This happens. And then I told a bunch of you, I went outside the course room and there were these two Sea Org guys just yelling at each other. And also Hubbard had said on that same course, communication is the universal solvent. So it could solve anything, right? And yet here are these guys screaming at each other. And, you're thinking, all right, what happened to the communication is the universal solvent, or affinity, reality, and communication equals understanding? I mean, where's the understanding here? But you don't say it because you're going to end up in ethics. So it's like, all right, put it in the closet. Let's go on, move on. We got to get on to the next thing because you're always busy in a cult. That's the way it is. And they keep you busy in every cult I've talked to. They're always like, hurry, 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 get going. Whether you're in the Sea Org or public, even public, because public, you've got to go to work and make money so you can pay for the courses so you can be on course at night, right? And the Sea Org, they've got to keep working all day because they're in the Sea Org, and that's the way that is. So either way, now I think, let me see. There's 82 people here, but, okay, there you are. I was trying to see, where are the 82 people? I don't know. I'm not seeing 82 people here, but maybe you are. Anyway, thank you for being here, whoever is here. Witness. Hi, Tori. I love your late night streams. Thank you. I do too. I'm really happy you guys come on. It's one of my favorite things, because I'm a night owl, and I thought, I was doing it in the day, and it was like, okay, but everybody else was doing it in the day. So the day seemed kind of crowded with, people doing live stream. And I thought, well, I'm kind of a night owl. Maybe there's a few others that are night owls. And here you guys are. I love it. Yeah, please make sure to like the videos, because that, even though I can't see them, but I would appreciate it if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe, because it's free and it's a good thing to subscribe to. Okay, so back to study text. So we've got the check sheet, the demo kits, checking things out. I'm trying to think if there's something else. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the study text. There's a whole lot of theory behind it also on each one of these things. Okay, it's a fan from Germany. Hi, regulator. Thank you. You guys are all great. Every day's a TED Talk with me. I wish. All right. So anyway, I'm just trying to think. Oh, I know. The other one is clay demos. That's the one that Lovett asked me about that, because she said, I just don't get it. And I said, okay, think about if you didn't know how to bake a cake and you have to bake a cake. So on course in Scientology, you would, make out of clay a bowl, right? So you've got a bowl. What else do you need to bake a cake? You've got to have a bag full of flour, right? A bowl of sugar, just different things. The ingredients, you'd have different things that you would make in clay and all this. And then you would finally mix it all up. You'd have a thing of someone standing there mixing it up, right? Mixing up the cake. And then you would have that person making it into a cake. So it looks like a cake. And then you would have to make an oven, right? Because you're going to have to put it in the oven. And then you would put the cake in the oven. And then you'd have to show the dial and that it's cooking and a timer, how long it's going to cook. And then it comes out and you ice it. You could have the icing. And there you go. There's the cake. But I know it's probably a bad example, but it's the one that I thought of. And but it's mostly theory. You know what I mean? It's like something that's theoretical and you can't quite get it. So then they would say, all right, I want you to make a clay demo of it. But I loved it. I really liked clay demos. I thought they were I literally, if we had a different house and a separate room, I was going to make it a clay demo room, because then you could clay demo different things. I wouldn't now, now that I'm out, I wouldn't. But at the time, I thought that would be cool when I was in. Okay, so I guess Liz Gale, Carrie's saying Liz Gale has some books that might be worth talking about together, including how things have changed over time. Okay, well, that's a whole different thing. And I'll have to talk to her and see if we can do something like that. I'm still learning how to do the split screen thing. I think I have it, but I don't know. Okay, you did the student head in Germany regulator in 2011, and is all correct what you say. Okay, good. A lot of theories, but so few in substance to apply to life. Right. Yeah. And it isn't really anything you would use. I mean, looking up words, most people already look up words. Thank you, Swedish Lena, for letting me know that about the likes. Thank you. Um, so, it isn't one of those things that you would I mean, most people look up words, I think, don't you think? Most people look up words. So, but they're really big on dictionaries. You always see a Scientologist with a dictionary, always. I mean, if they're on course, they've got their dictionary. I think I have one here that from years ago, well, yeah, this was mine. I bought, I had more advanced ones, and then I got so sick of looking up all their words because you have to look up everything. So I bought Webster's New Student Dictionary, and that's my little dictionary that I hardly ever use. But I look up stuff if I don't know it. I look it up, but I keep that, and I have the tech dictionary so that I can clear words if you guys ever need them. All right, now, okay, so great. That helps me so that. And is there anything else, regulator, that you can think of on the student head? Because I think that's about it. I think it's a lot of checkouts. You have to do a lot of checkouts. And the interesting thing, I'm not going to tell you that. Anyway, you have to do a lot of checkouts before you pass. And you have to be able to show that you can apply the student head and the student tech. And of course, Hubbard's blabbing away on his, tapes that I hated all of his tapes because, he talks forever and says hardly anything. You learn very little. All right, my goal in life is to be you. Nothing's bored. I have 20 more years, but I'd be happy to be even a quarter of you. Ah, I freaking love you, lady. Thank you. Blessings. Thank you. Same to you, too. That's very kind. Very kind. Well, does anyone, before I go and check things out, does anybody have anything? Hello from New Zealand. All right, that's cool. Hi, Sophie. There you are. Okay. I hope we can all be Tori eventually. No, 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 no. You guys have to stay being you guys. You're wonderful as you are. The only thing that I did different than you is I have a sign in my house, leap and the net will appear. And it's like, you have to make the leap. You know what I mean? You guys could I bet you every one of you could start a YouTube site and be just as good as I am or way better than I am on something that you know and like and love. I'm just telling you. So it's something to think about because it's really weird to start, but you start and some other people come on and go, I'm listening. And you're like, really? Yeah, it's really fun. It is. It's a good thing to do. But everybody's good at something. I believe that. I really do. I mean, I think kids could have big YouTube. I think some of them do have big YouTubes. All right, the Windy City had a question near the start. Okay, so let me go back and look for questions. If you have a question, please put question. That really helps. Okay, here we go. All right, Tori, hello. From Cindy. All right, I'm not going to say all your names because I still don't get what you're talking about, Windy City Phaeton Watch. Benefits, snitching, and outbound money flow. I don't, you have to say that in a sentence for me. Oh, there's Love It. Hi, you are here. I didn't know you were here. All right, good. I missed you. Sorry. Thank you. I knew you were coming. So I baked a cake. I did the clay demo with the cake thing I told you. So let me know if you think it worked or not. All right, so everybody says hello. That's wonderful. Thank you for helping me get the clear Conquer account. Scientology probably hates that. I mean, somebody made a point on DOA's thing today. I mean, if everybody knows the clear cog, who's going to do Dianetics? That's a good point. I mean, if you know the real end of it, And you realize how tricky it is. See, that's the thing. It's not just a clear cognition. It's realizing that Hubbard is putting in your head that you have a reactive mind. And then the end phenomena is you're just creating it, right? It doesn't mean you don't have a subconscious mind with pain and loss and stuff like that. But I don't really think Dianetics, I really don't think I've not only done tons of Dianetics, I've co-authored Dianetics, I've taught Dianetics, which is called Book One. I've taught seminars on it, and I've seen, I've seen minimal wins on it, really minimal. They're not major stable wins. They might be a win, you feel better. You used to feel sad about losing your dog. Now you've talked about it, you feel better. But you could talk about it with your girlfriend and not have to pay any money, or your boyfriend. You know what I mean? It's like, anyway, that's the way I feel. Hi, Tori. Selfless Self was really pleased to meet you. I was really pleased to meet him too. I really feel honored every time I meet someone in person that I've kind of seen, or I've seen their videos or heard about them or something. And, you hear Selfless Self. And then I saw him, where, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it was a couple nights ago when Laura and DOA were here, and they were helping me with the StreamYard. And then we went on to make a video because it was just a funny night. And we made this video. And on the video, the guys watching the video said, hey, Selfless Self is at the testing center doing chalk. And both of them went, really? We didn't know anything about it. And then the next thing we know, they're handcuffing the wrong people. They didn't handcuff Selfless Self or Mindy. Those are the two that were there protesting, right? But they didn't handcuff them. They swatted these other two guys. One was from New Zealand, Sophie, and they were freaked out. I asked him last night, I said, how did they feel? And he said they were pretty freaked out. And I said, boy, I bet you they will be talking about that forever. And he was cool enough to just stay on it and say, unhandcuff them. They have nothing to do with this. Unhandcuff them. And that's the thing that Streets has really taught us, that we can do that. We can say that. And you can get them to do it. You know what I mean? Like at Easter, the policeman I was talking to, I don't, if any of you watched that video, I asked him, do you know what swatting is? He said, no. And so I told him, and I said, I want you to understand, this is our tax dollars that are being wasted every time the Church of Scientology calls someone because they're protesting and says it's a gas leak or they've got a gun or whatever they make up. And I said, that's your money and my money and everybody else's. It's really not okay. And he kind of agreed, and he really lightened up after that. He was kind of mean. And then after that, he kind of lightened up. And then I said, I want you to go back and talk with your supervisors and get them to understand when they get these calls from Scientology, this is all that's happening. Why not send one man, see if it's really a problem, and then if it is, send the whole thing. But if it isn't, move on. So that happened today. DOA, they came, they swatted him, and they said, do you have a gun? He said, or is there a gun here? Is there any shooting? And he said, nope. And they drove off. That was it. So I don't know. I don't know if my thing helped or everybody, but I will say this: education helps. So if you always, whenever you get a chance, educate someone on whatever you know, because it's important. And you never know who they're going to pass it on to that might really change things. And we need to change this. This swatting thing is ridiculous. Okay, so I just realized, oh yeah, we went over that. Saul, you gave me pneumonia. No, you only get pneumonia with OT3. That's Xenu. When you find out about Xenu too early, then you get pneumonia. It's not with the clear cognition. All right, yeah, I made it for my favorite TED Talk of the day. Love from Australia. Oh, I love Australia. I have a few friends that are there, and I love Australians. They're really, I love a lot of people. I really do. A lot of people around the world are wonderful. That's how they break it to you. Oh my God. Okay. So, hi, Tori. Hello, chatters. Okay, from Marie. And please tell me where you're from when you say hi. He's saying you are Tori. He's saying you are Tori. Okay. I am what? See, that's not it's like, okay, I don't know who he is. That's how they break it to you. I don't know, Saul. You've got to tell me who he is and who he's saying you are, Tori. He's saying I'm what? Those are two incomplete things. Hello, Tori, my favorite. Thank you. Swedish Linia, Tori, you are my dead dog. Thank you. All right, now wait. They all told me to hit this blue thing at the bottom. Woo! Okay, I did. All right, now I'm at the bottom. Tori, is your email down? I'm from British Columbia. I don't think so. I'll have to check afterwards, but I don't think so. Thank you for saying that I'm great. I appreciate it. A police officer didn't know what swatting is. Who's training them? Exactly. Well, look what's happening here in LA. I mean, who is training them? That's a very good question. I've said it since I heard about this swatting. If you let us, any of us, be in charge of it, what would we do? We would send a person. If we got a call, there's any number of bad things. We would say, okay, send someone over to check it out. Is there this? No. Okay, come back. It's like, what would be the point of sending 3 fire trucks and an ambulance to somewhere where there was nothing happening? It was a totally false call from Scientology. So, yeah. Who is training them? That's a good question. Tori, your communication skills have been making big differences. You are amazing. Really? Thank you. How have they been making big differences? Tell me that. All right, Wendy, or do you mean just talking to the policeman and the security guard and stuff like that? That was fun. It really was. Windy City, you lose the comrade friendship of common ideas and the dream of working to fix the people of Earth. Lose the comrade friendships. Do you mean if they join? Go on, you, Tori. Thank you. The cult has cried wolf. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to put these things. Well, you're not asking questions though, so I'm not supposed to put them up there. Or like during the bridge, it's like I had a dream about seeing you. Okay. Here's a question from Saul. All right. How would a Scientologist react if during the Dianetics course, if someone was clear before they are supposed to reach clear? They would say, I have to go to the examiner. It's like they're trained. If they have a realization, certainly a clear cognition, they have to go tell the examiner because the examiner is totally secure. That's all they can do. And they go to the examiner and tell them. And then if they are and their needle's floating, blah, 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 and they bring them out and they go, we'd like to announce that, Pinch Becky F's given is now clear. And everybody's like, yay. And then they do the hip, hip, hooray and everything regarding LRH. It's kind of pathetic, but it is. And so that's how they would react if they were on the Dianetics course. They would go to the examiner. They wouldn't just stand up and say, I'm clear. It's like, no. That's how I felt when I met you. Absolutely loved it. Thank you. Scientology was something put together to kill time. All right. Now, remember, if you have a question, put question. Wait, what is this person saying? Tori, we want your personality and moxie, not how to have a YouTube channel. I gotcha. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I mean, that's, it's a matter of communication. That's what I think. I mean, it's like I've always been that way. That's just the way I am. I grew up with my parents and my dad. I had 2 older brothers, and he said, look, you hang around, because I always hung around with them and their friends and a couple of my girlfriends, and we'd all hang around together. And he'd say, look, I'm going to teach you about bullies. And he did. And he said, the only people that you have to worry about are people that won't sit down at the table, which is what I realized at the end of Scientology. After 30 years, I realized these people will never sit down at the table with you. They are exactly what my father described as a bully. That's it. They won't talk. They can't talk, right? They're bullies. That's all they can do. So anyway, he kind of taught me lots of things and he was a very courageous man, just naturally. He was just a very humble guy, but a wonderful man and loved by a lot of people. And unfortunately died very young, but gave me a lot of, I credit a lot of the skills that I have are from my dad and mom. They are. So there you go. The moxie, that's from them. And my mom, we used to always tease her that we call her Lucille, for Lucille Ball. And that's a good thing because you can always laugh at yourself. Lucille Ball was brilliant. She was an excellent businesswoman. So was my mom, but she was funny as shit and she could laugh at herself all the time. And that's something I have from growing up with them. It was like my mom was a goofball, but she was a model. She could be gorgeous. She could be smart. She was a bunch of different things. So it's kind of like just developing those skills. I think everybody has moxie. They do. They just have to try it. You gotta. It's the old leap and the net will appear, and it will. Okay. Here you want to know. All right. So now I get to try what they taught me the other night. Here it is. That's my email. There you go. They taught me that the other night. Okay, so now back to the comments. All right. Now, okay, cool. Okay, did I already do this question with Saul? Okay, yeah, we did. Okay, there you go. Are there any other questions? The cult that cried wolf, totally. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your nice comments, everybody. Magoo is you. Okay, so I'm going down because they said hit the blue thing. Question. Here's a question. What do you know? All right. How many times did you do the purification rundown and have you had ill effects from it? That's a good question. I did it once and I nearly died. So I would never do it again. I highly do not recommend it for anyone. Now, the commanding officer of AOLA was with me, and he loved it. It was the 5th time he'd done it, and he thought it was fantastic. So it probably depends on the person. But I also know a lady who had diabetes, did the purification, and she is blind to this day. And she's still in Scientology. She can see just a little bit. And I was picketing once, and I said, "Hey, Carrie, it's Tori." And she just kept tapping along, and I thought, oh, God, what a tragedy. So you got to be careful with it and definitely go over it with your doctor if you're going to do the purif. But I don't recommend it. Did you ever meet Reckless Ben? If so, what do you think about him? I don't think I've met him. I don't think so. Not that I know of. I certainly haven't hung with him. I have met Angry Gay Pope from day one when he arrived, and I said, stay away from me. He arrived and went right up to a security guard and started yelling in his face, and Anonymous was there peacefully picketing, and I said, this guy is either here to, I'm not going to get into it. It's just he's not someone that I would be around. I've said, stay out of my pictures, stay out of my way. You do your protesting, because he yells at the Sea Org, and I don't believe in that. And it's different than, just saying Scientology is a cult. You know what I mean? He yells in at them about their family or has in the past, and then called me and said, see, they were really listening, and they were filming me. And I said, of course they're filming you, because you're going to end up in a courtroom with them where they're going to show these films of you being very abusive to them. You can't do that. It's not a smart thing. And even if I help one person realize, oh yeah, maybe I could be a little kinder, we should be better. That's my viewpoint. It's like we critics, we exes, we people that are exposing a destructive cult should not be destructive. Do you see what I mean? If we're destructive, what right do we have to talk to them about being destructive? I don't think we do. So to me, it's like, that's why you see me talking to people, because I believe in communication. I don't believe in just putting them down, making fun of them, all that stuff. That's a bunch of shit. Think about yourself when you were little and somebody put you down. How did you feel? Did you like it? No, nobody likes it. Really, you should think of love. You know what I mean? And trying to build communication with love, and be nice to them, be kind to them, because they're trapped. They're trapped in a really creepy cult, and it's not really their choice. It was originally, but it's evolved into this big ugly thing. And I think the worst thing you can do is be yelling at them. So I'm sorry if people are friends with the Pope. That's your thing. And the odd thing is that he is a really nice guy outside of being the angry gay Pope. I met him one time at a subway stop, and he went, "Magoo, it's the Pope." And he didn't have on any of his stuff, and he was just super nice. And he's very able and stuff like that. So I just wish he would come around and protest as himself instead of as the angry gay Pope. Because I don't think has anger ever helped any of you in a way where really people were just yelling at you and, putting you down. I mean, did you ever go, wow, they're right? I should have thought of that. I mean, even if they are right, I think when it comes across in an angry way, you just don't hear it. That's just the way it is. That's what I think. So anyway, one day I hope he does, because he's a good guy overall if he's himself. It's just as the angry gay Pope, I don't like that whole thing. So wait, let's see. Question. So the ultimate goal was to go clear. No, the ultimate goal is to go OT and to clear planet Earth. And then once you're clear, what do you do after that? You go OT. And can you talk about some people that were supposedly clear and what they were like? Sorry to laugh, but I can talk about many people that are clear. I've met the first one was a guy who said, I've had a really great session. And I said, really, what happened? And he said, I realized I'm Julius Caesar. I said, okay. And I thought, wow, this is pretty impressive. It's a good thing I didn't stay in college and become a doctor. I mean, I would have never met Julius Caesar, right? And so then I say, well, it was nice meeting you. And we're at Denny's, and I go to another booth and I sit down, and this guy says, I had an amazing session. And I said, really, what happened? And he said, I realized I'm Julius Caesar. And, at that point, you get this bubble like, wait a minute, this is just bullshit. But you can't say that, because part of Scientology is you can never invalidate someone's wins. So, you move on. But I think of those guys when I think of people that are clear. It's like, okay, everyone I know is clear. We all attested to clear. You have to be clear to do OT. And the OT3, you have to be clear before you can do OT1, 2, and 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which it gets worse and worse the higher up you go. It's for the person. It's awful. So I don't really know anyone in my world, per the definition, that the original definition was a perfect memory, a perfect IQ, no somatics, no pains. I don't know anyone with that definition. Whether they changed it, even when they changed it to it's only on your first dynamic, meaning just having to do with you, not anything else, your family or anything else, I still don't know anyone that's clear. I don't. I'm the wrong person to ask. I probably am, because it's just not, from day one, I was like, I don't know. At first I thought it would work, but being there for a short time, I realized, no, this isn't going to happen. So they convinced multiple people. No, they don't convince you. You have to understand that. People think Scientology does all this stuff to you, but they don't. They like these people read the book Dianetics. Hubbard says we've all lived before. So in session, that person comes up with, oh my God, is there an earlier similar time you were in a war or something? Oh, yeah, I was Julius Caesar. Okay, thank you very much. Your needle's floating. That's the end, right? So that person now thinks they're Julius Caesar. Now they can't talk about that anymore. Miscavige put that in where, I think about 10 years ago, he said, you can't talk about past lives anymore. Probably because of people like me who are really pissed off that it was just, it kept saying you get to the next level, and nothing had anything that they said it had. And so I was like, all right, forget it. All right. So what Tori said, never mind. Yeah, just never mind. I know. That's the best hand of Scientology. Never mind. Question. I'm 53 and only just realized my family didn't get on with me because they didn't want to. Do you realize new things about your time in Scientology now? Maybe not so much, but I've spent years realizing things about Scientology. So I mean, a little bit, but not much. No. But I think just as a person, not as a Scientologist, but as a person, sure, I have realizations all the time. I do. I read my book, The Four Agreements, which I told you I think is really great. And I read other books that are self-improvement books. And I try to, look at things in different ways, right? And that helps me. So that's a thing that I do. Everybody's got their different things, but I think it's very healing. Okay, Swish Leany ask again. Okay, Swish Leany. All right, I miss Swish Leany. Let me just go up. Okay, question. Okay, sorry about that, Swish Leany, and thank you for helping on that. To the lady that just did, or gentleman. Question. Were you someone who wrote a lot of KIRs? No, I wasn't. I mean, I did if I had to, but I wasn't. No, I had a friend who was, and I told this other friend, we were all OTs. And I'm not going to get into the whole story about it, but this other friend said, I'm going to write her up. And I said, okay, I just want you to know something. You are never, ever going to win this battle. This person, who was a dear friend of mine, but when you get into knowledge reports with her, she will never, ever stop, ever, until she wins. And she called me months later. This was in the fall. I told her that. In the spring, she called me. She goes, Dear God, I am done. I don't care. I'm not writing another KR on that person ever. You were right. So it's like some people are like that, where they're real fanatics on KRs, but not a lot of people. I mean, most people, I think, she was the only one I knew like that. Other people, not really so much. All right, so okay, now wait. This is a thing question. Did we answer this? Were you someone? Oh yeah, you wrote it. Okay. And this is from, well, let me go up a little bit. Just up a little bit. Oh, Patrick Skinner, you're trying to bail out of here? All right. Good night. Roger Troopy. All right. Well, thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. And I love your name still. Okay. Okay, no, wait. No. Street says things loudly, usually to the police or to someone who is being terrible to him, like blaming him for, ew, that's so awful. I mean, I'm totally behind Streets, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he can say whatever he wants. He is a man who says what he wants, and he's right. You know what I mean? So that's all there is to it. And okay, you support AGP. Okay, Saul, I support AGP, but AGP does get destructive. Okay, well, it's a choice. It's like, I'm not saying don't support him. You asked, or someone asked if I did, and I'm like, no, I don't, and I'm not going to lie about it. And I think maybe if he ever listened to me, it might help him, because I think it's a very fine line what he's doing, and I think he may be in some legal situations right now, and that's because of that stuff that I've been saying. So for me, it's tricky. Okay, let's see. Here's the 49 fan. I gotta put him up here. Saul, it's you. No Streets he doesn't attack. He's loud but polite. Yeah, I feel that way too. He impinges. You know what I mean? He definitely impinges. You hear him. Okay. Okay, now where is this? Okay. The military gets their troops moving. No love involved. Okay. Well, we're not a military. We're a bunch of individual people talking to individual people. So we're not a military, and you're right on that. But that doesn't mean we can't use kindness and love. I'm just speaking for me. What helped me? That's what helped me. They sent me out to handle this big mob of people that were against Scientology, and I didn't hear any of them. But I did hear the one guy that asked me, "Why can't you read certain books?" And he was just very kind. He wasn't loving, but he was very kind. You know what I mean? He just wasn't mean. And I don't think meanness works. I don't. It might in the military. It has to in the military, but that's different. You have a big heart, Tori. Okay. It's great to hear your stories. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now let's see. Wait. I'm pretty sure the Purif is what killed Nelson Ellis, Lafayette's from True Blood, after his relapse. I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of people had trouble with it. Xenu forever, Tori first. What is this? Captain Charisma. Yeah. All right. Now here's a question. Okay. Did I answer this already? So the ultimate goal is to go clear, and then once you're clear, okay. Can you talk about the people? Okay, yeah. I'm a bad person to ask about it because I never felt anybody was clear. I really didn't. Per the definition, I just didn't. I didn't think I was either. I mean, Arthur Hubbard is the one who told me you're last lifetime clear. I was like, oh, okay. That works. Because it didn't work this lifetime because I have epilepsy. How could I be no somatics, no pains? Come on, it just didn't work. But oh, thank you, Saul. All right, here's a question. Okay. So this is from Rather Bain Molly. Okay, that's an interesting name. Is there anything you learned in Scientology that you still apply in your life now? I don't think so. I mean, there probably is. I'm trying to think. I try not to. Excuse me for rubbing my eyes, but they got itchy. I would say the tone scale, but I feel like the tone scale, I tried to get way away from that because it's very factioning off, like this person is that and this person is that and that kind of thing. I would say probably the only thing I use is some of the communication course, the original communication course. Those I use, which is the number one I use is TR2, which is acknowledgments. Because you see and hear, if you just listen, people often do not acknowledge communication. Like someone will say something and no one says anything. I was at a business meeting and, this guy gave where I'm going to do this and this is that. He was the head of the company and he finished and nobody said a thing. And I said, thank you. And he looked at me like, oh, thank God somebody got it. Because it almost feels like people aren't getting your communication if they don't acknowledge you. So I'd say that's the number one tool that I use is TR2, which is acknowledgments. And the other one is TR3, which is repeating the question. And I'll use that when I have to call those stupid knuckleheads for credit or whatever. Not for credit, but, to get, let's say, StreamYard set up. And this is a perfect example. And I've got to get on it again because DOA spelled my name wrong for PayPal. So I'm trying to call PayPal. But, a lot of people give up. But because of TR3 and just being trained in that and asking the question over and asking it over, I'm just good at doing that. And that's something I really learned on the communication course. So those are probably the best basic things. Not really a lot. I kind of weeded it out when I left. I was like, I'm done with this. I've gone on to learn other things, but not really Scientology. It's not in my wheelhouse, and I'm happy for that. All right. So there's that. Here's another question. Okay, now this I'm not sure of. Can we do an interview on Chicago's public Scientologists from 2005, Bergman and McGee? I did a show on their fundraiser that listed all the names and the amount of donors. I sent an email. I'd be happy to do it if you set it up. You kind of have to set it up because I'm still learning how to do, how to interview other people technically, how to do the split screen thing. Let's see if this happens right now. There's a thing up here and they said this will be split screen. Ooh, it does look like it would be. All right, so maybe I can. I don't know. So anyway, but you set it up if you want to and call me and or send me a text and we'll do it if you want. I mean, it's okay with me. I will tell you this. I'm from Chicago, but I don't really know those people, Kirchman and Berman and McGee. See, they're public Scientologists from 2005. I mean, I escaped out in 2000. So I have no idea. I'm glad you did a fundraiser that lists all the names and the amounts of the donators. Okay, fundraiser for Scientology? What did you do as a fundraiser for? I'm not really sure, and I'm not really sure what I could contribute to it. But if you want to do it, set it up and let me know. Okay, now let me just check. I got to hit the blue button. Ooh. Okay, here's a question. All right. Thank you, Sharon. Tori, do you feel that some of the protesters could be kinder to Scientologists? I'm a 69-year-old grandma, and every day I say to my grandkids, be kind to someone today. Yeah, I am 1,000% for kindness. I am. I really believe it. It's like, what is the thing? You can catch more bees with honey than you can with vinegar or whatever. It's like, it's just kindness can move in certain directions that anger cannot. People tend to, you're angry and they're like, the same with education. Like if you watch the Easter video at all, they had up those barriers, right? And I went between those barriers. I talked to that security guard for about a half an hour with he saying, you're trespassing and all this stuff. Anyway, I finally said, look, you have $1 million of my money. So either get me the $1 million or get out of here. Leave me alone. And so he left. And so I went inside and there were 3 police women. And they said, you're trespassing. And I said, okay, let's get something straight here. These people have $1 million of my money. And they say on my SP declare, I didn't say that, but they say I only have one person I can talk to. Your only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. Okay. And for 24 years, they won't talk to me. So today I am here to get my $1 million or talk to the IJC. And they all went like this. That's not going to happen today. And I said, okay, that's what they say every time. But I'm here today and I'm not leaving until one of those things happens or the day ends. And so I was there for a long time. And that's why, because they all kind of went, they got it. They're women. And they kind of went, yeah. I mean, I said, you can kind of understand that $1 million, or you can only talk to this one person and the person won't talk to you and they won't give me my $1 million. Not okay. And they left me alone from then on. And they even said to the men, leave her alone. It was just sort of like, she can stay here. So there you go. That was from education. That wasn't from just me being snarly with them. Do you know what I mean? I could have been snarly with them and they could have arrested me or kicked me out or whatever. But Instead, they said to the guys, leave her alone. It's like, that's just the way, that's how it went down. All right, so now, what if Odo had pulled a wad of cash out of his beard and given it to you? Sorry, it's a silly fantasy. Yeah, a wad of cash for me wouldn't do it. If they were going to pay me, I thought about it today, and I know I've been saying $1 million, but it's really escalating because I think of punitive damages, and I'm stuck with this bad, screwed up memory because of them for the rest of my life. So I thought it's really more like $10-20 million is really what they owe me, at the least. And punitive damages with all the families broken up and other people, it's could be outrageous. But anyway, it's definitely more than $1 million, definitely. So it's not a wad of cash. No, doesn't matter. Is Bob Marley of critics? Is the Bob Marley of critics? Oh, you're saying I'm the Bob Marley of critics. Okay, fair enough. I like Bob Marley. I do. Thank you. Okay, so there's that. I think we got the questions. Do Scientologists believe you? Okay. Oh wait, no. This is a good one. Okay, let's see. 49er fan for life. Do Scientologists believe you lose your OT powers when you leave the cult? I always wondered what they thought about that. I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. First of all, they have to know internally they don't have any OT powers, but they're not going to voice that or even physically think about it. But in the back of their head, they got to know, they don't have any OT powers, not really. I mean, you'll hear them talk about, well, I was on the freeway and I needed this car to move over and it moved over. That's after I did OT too. And you're like, oh, come on. Seriously? These are your OT powers? And those are the most that you'll hear about how they got a car to move. And it's like, did they really make the car move? I mean, I don't think so. But yeah, they for sure think if you leave, you're turned into a suppressive person. See? So that's, now you're just completely evil. So you can't be OT and be evil in their world. Okay, I'd love to talk with you. All right, I gave you my email. I just did that. I 100% will set that up and help you. Okay, Wendy, let me know what that is. Okay. Okay, this is a good question, and this is from the Hildebrand person that my friend John Hildebrand got me in Scientology. Do you think ex-executives, and I'm only smiling because I want to talk to him. He's left, he's become an attorney, or an attorney, and then he's taught law school down in San Diego, and then he's vanished. So I smiled just thinking, darn it, I really want to talk to him one of these days. Okay. Do you think ex-executives should be held accountable for their actions they made while they were still in the CFS? What I think and what they should do are two different things. It's like, do I think you should, whatever. It's like someone being held accountable, in my mind, has to do with me. If I'm being held accountable, I'm only going to do it when I'm at that point where I can do it. You know what I mean? When I've looked at myself and realized enough and gone, you know what, I need to, like, that's what happened with top secret mafia. I thought, I don't want to tell all this stuff. I just wanted to leave Scientology. I didn't want to do anything. But then I kept thinking, they are going to be working these people on the internet, and I'm the source on that. I opened the phony account. So I need people to know. I know this is what's happening. I've watched it go down. It's not in my mind. Do you know what I mean? They have 3 goals: distract off of Scientology, Hubbard, and David Miscavige. Divide and conquer, slime the area. That's it. Those are the 3 goals on the internet for the Office of Special Affairs. And they have people working on that, I'm sure, to this day. And anyway, I forget what you asked now. Wait. Oh, should they be held accountable for their actions? I mean, you can hold anybody accountable, but whether they actually take responsibility and what we need is people who've done stuff to come out and say what they did, right? This is my opinion. It's like you can say, we should hold them accountable. And what are we going to have? Some kind of a lynching or something? It's like people fucked up, but they were in a cult and they probably did wrong things. But that doesn't mean it's right, but it doesn't mean we should all pound on them either. That's not going to help either. That would be a huge win for OSA. That's a big win for OSA. They want us to hate each other. And the more hatred they can spread, the better it is. So I think individuals need to, with themselves, have peace with themselves, and then share, yes, what they've done with the church, so that people can heal. That's the only way people can heal is if they understand, oh, I didn't know you did that. You know what I mean? Not about them, but about me. Do you see what I mean? Like that, I had parties for 14 years. Why did I have them? Because I missed people. I lost all my friends. So that was the number one reason. But then I started watching them and they were all so, like I was in this room and you were in that room. What happened in your room? Do you know what I mean? And everybody all around the party were comparing notes of what happened. So it's like, it's a very big, long healing process. That was for 14 years I did that. And we still, if we got together now, it would still be people sharing stories and, stuff like that. So anyway, I think an individual has to come to the realization that they want to take responsibility for things. And until they do, I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. I know that, I know that none of you were in a cult. Most of the people that asked that kind of thing were never in a cult. And so it's easy to look at it and go, well, we should hold them accountable. But it's like, if you're in a Truman Show, have you watched the movie The Truman Show? Because then you'll kind of get, if you watch it a few times, you get, okay, they're totally isolated, insulated. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't. But I think they have to come up with a realization of like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Like one person that did help me was Bob Minton. He's a multimillionaire. He was never in Scientology. And I had said, OSA had fed some stuff to me when I was in about Bob that were just lies. And I had passed them on, not knowing they were lies. Now I get out, I wake up, I leave, and I meet Bob Minton. And he's wonderful. I mean, he's just a wonderful person. And I just think, oh my God, how could I have said those things about him? And so I finally told him, again, they could have held me accountable, but it wouldn't have done anything. But I finally realized I love this person and I've really got to, tell him the truth. And so I said, I just want you to know something, Bob. I did spread some awful stuff about you that isn't true. I thought it was at the time, but it wasn't. And he goes like this. You think that's it, Tori? You think you can just apologize to me and that's the end of it, right? And, I didn't, but he goes, no. He goes, you supported an organization for 30 years. So you need to make up the damage. And that, it's stuck in my head. I have made, tons of videos. And then I'll think, I'm done. And then I think of Bob and I think, all right. And, somebody who's having trouble and I think, all right, I'll help him out. That kind of thing. So you can plant seeds that'll help someone, be accountable, but you've got to plant the seeds. That's what I think, or leave it alone and hopefully they will. That's what I think. So let me know if that answered your question. I hope it did. I hope it did. Do you think executives? Okay, so that's from the Hildebrand, W. Hildebrand. So you let me know, W. Hildebrand, if that answered your question. All right, now I'm going to go down to the bottom because they all told who runs a Scientology mission. I don't think they have missions anymore. I was told that the missions are all gone. Who runs a Scientologist mission Are they public or are they Sea Org? They're definitely public. When they had missions, they were public and they were fantastic. I mean, why David Miscavige got rid of them, I have no idea. Because they were fantastic. Well, they were fantastic until they put them under RTC, which made them part of the church. And then it was like, nah, forget it. I mean, I talked to a couple of them and they went, nah, we're done. That's it. And I said, why? What happened? And they said, we got to now answer to RTC. Forget it. See, originally the missions were just like my husband's parents had people over with coffee and cake, and they would talk about Dianetics and practice it. That was it. That was the original stuff. Then the missions came about, and they actually were a business where, you know, they were getting people into Scientology, educating them on different parts of the tech, helping them out, people getting better. You know what I mean? It was like a little planting. It was like if you had a garden, it's like a special place to plant all the seeds so that the plants can grow. And then the class 5 orgs were like where the plants are not, now they're growing a lot. We got to pick them. So we're going, okay, we'll put them over in the org, right? And then the Sea Org was a whole different thing. That was Hubbard out on the ship, hiding from the IRS, and got those young kids to work on the ship and supposedly run the Church of Scientology. But they were a whole different thing than the public. Anyway, Chi. Yes, I got it. Thank you, Chi. Thank you. I always put the batteries in wrong, so it didn't work. Check the batteries. I know I can't, I have to take it over to DOA and have him help me because I can't figure out. I've spent like at least an hour trying to get the batteries in, and it's really difficult. So I think for him, he'll know how to do it, and we'll get it going. But I don't have it going yet. I don't, but I bless you for sending it to me. I really thank you. She sent me a megaphone. So if you see me with it, she's the one who sent it to me. And Magoo has heart melting powers. Oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet of you. And thank you for sending that to me. It was really kind. So I will get it going. It's just I have to get probably a guy who can figure it out because I'm telling you, it's difficult. Anyway, who runs the Scientology mission? Okay, we did that. What is OT? Okay. What is OT? I heard Laura talk about that term. Okay, an OT is an operating thetan. Now, this is why I keep my little Scientology tech dictionary, right? See? Right. Scientology and Dianetics Technical Dictionary. All right. So let's look up what Hubbard says because, you know, I've got my own thing, but I want you to LMNOP, QRST. Just a second, hang on. You can leave if you want. LMNOP, QRST, LMNOP. Okay. Okay, OT. I think it's in here. It should be. Okay, OT. Yeah, it is. Okay, OT. OT is an operating state in the highest state there is. That's all it says. God, how weird. The operating state in the highest state there is. Okay, OT activities would be those programs conducted by OTs to assist Scientology. All right, so let's see the next one. That's it. OT meters, an entirely different meter for an entirely different purpose. It is for use above clear up to OT. To me, they always had the same, you know, I started with the class, it was a 5, a Mark 5, which was the wooden one. I have one of those still. And then it was a Mark 6, which was real fancy. It was plastic. And then Mark 7 and Mark 8. I think it's up to Mark 8 or something. But anyway, they're different ones. Let's see. I think that's all they have. That's all they have on the OT. They don't have much. But anyway, I will tell you because I thought, well, maybe he's probably got other stuff written other places, but that's all I have. But an OT is she's probably said that they're supposed to be cause over matter, energy, space, and time. And, depending on the level of OT, they're supposed to be cause over matter, energy, space, and time, like by OT 8 on all dynamics, right? Meaning I have to do a separate thing on the dynamics. But anyway, it's basically someone that can do, anything, right? You should be able to, you need the door open the door. I mean, David Miscavige gave an event where he announced when the Berlin Wall came down, that's because of OT8. That's why the OT, he said, we released OT8 and the Berlin Wall came down. And everybody cheered. And I sat there going, give me a break. Come on. So anyway, this one, okay, so that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a BS term. It doesn't work. I don't know anybody that's cause over matter, energy, space, and time at all. I don't know anybody that I can say. I might know some people that are in other philosophies that are closer to OT than like I used to know a guy named Mystic, Gordon Bell. And Gordon was a Scientologist. And then he left years ago and got into all these other philosophies that he was studying. And he was really getting pretty cool at doing stuff. But it wasn't Scientology. It was all these other things that he was studying. So anyway, it's just another way to make money. That's what I think it is. It was their most expensive thing. That's why it's top secret. Because if you knew about it, you'd say, "Oh, come on, Xenu, the evil warlord, and you're covered with body thetans." And no, well, that's part of the OT thing, is that you're covered for OT3 and above. You're covered with supposedly these body thetans, and a bunch of them are a cluster. And those things supposedly cause you pain and loss and sadness and everything. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think so. No. If it worked, I would have gotten rid of epilepsy. And I didn't, did I? I nearly died instead and had status epilepticus. And the doctor said 5 more minutes and you would have been dead. Fact. So I'm the wrong person to talk about clear and OT. Anyway, okay, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions that I missed. You've crossed the bridge, I believe. No. Operating Thetan, it means you've crossed the bridge. Not that I know of. There's the bridge to total freedom, which OT8 is the top of it. But crossing the bridge, I don't know. I never heard that. I told you what OT means. Who runs the Scientology missions? I told you that. It originally was businesses. They were like private businesses. Then in the, I think, 80s, late 80s, maybe 90s, it turned into under RTC with Miscavige taking over and stuff. And a bunch of people quit. The Mission Holders Conference, you can look it up on, I think, on YouTube. It was a mess. It was a big mess. And it kind of ended the missions. Okay, Chi, thank you again. That was wonderful. Okay. Okay, so, all right. So let me go to the bottom. I'm supposed to keep pushing this blue thing. All right. I love being correct. You were corrected? I love being corrected. Now I know. Gracias. What were you corrected on? I mean, I appreciate it, but what did I correct you on? Tell me what that was. Question. All right, here's a question. Yes. Okay. What's the best way for someone who is public to leave Scientology? And how about for a CEO member? The $1 million question. The best way is, if you really look at it, I was at the event where L. Ron Hubbard was announced he passed away and he's moved on to higher things. Now, he always said the way out is the way through. In other words, you have to do the whole bridge to get out. But think about it. Did he? No. The way out is the nearest door. And that is how I feel about public. That's how I feel about Sea Org. If you're listening to this and you hear me, when you wake up tomorrow, just walk out the door. That's it. Just keep walking. If you're at the complex, go to Sunset, go down Sunset, get to, somewhere where you can call me, I'll come get you. That's it. You're out. You're free. That's it. They're not going to come get you. They have no power over you. That's the thing. They have no power over anybody except in your head. If you give them the power, they have the power. Once you go, you know what? I'm done giving you the power. I'm going to take back my own power. And I'm walking out the door. They will not grab you. They cannot touch you. And then you can say, if you touch me, I'm calling the police. You know what I mean? You have to, just get out. That's it. So now I forgot what I was talking about. All right, no, wait. There's a bunch of questions here. Oh. Meeting Tori was, okay, no, wait. Darn. Magood, you guys were so funny. Okay, I gotta see these because everybody always says I miss stuff, and then I'm like, wait a minute, how did I miss this? All right, let's see what this is. I guess I'm watching all the Scientology. I think it's SPTV videos. The other day, my recommended videos came up with independent Scientology podcasts. It sounded like people kicked out, still clinging on to LRH. That's right. They're not kicked out. They just left. They left the church, but they still adamantly they love the tech and they use the tech. And I don't put anything against them. I'm for exposing the abuses of the church. If somebody wants to use Scientology tech, go for it. I mean, I will say all of it was ripped off by Hubbard. And my friend spent 10 years, he and his buddy, friends, spent 10 years tracing back every piece of tech, and everything has an earlier beginning that is not L. Ron Hubbard. Okay. So he was good at copying it, repackaging it, and saying it was his. So a lot of it is free. Buddhism, Taoism, there's a lot of philosophies that offer the same kind of tech or tools that you would learn paying for it for free. So even as independents, I say, why pay for it? I mean, I get it. They like each other. It's the same thing as why people stay in Scientology. They like their friends. So that's it. Okay, no, wait, hang on. Oh, okay, what is this? Tori, by admitting to Bob what you did is the start of accountability. Hands yellow, heart red. What does that mean? Hands yellow, heart red. Okay, hands. I'm not quite sure what that means. If you could explain it, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, it definitely, I mean, I was already admitting to stuff. It wasn't like that was when I started talking. I had already been exposing things and taking accountability for it. But Bob gave me the keep talking. It wasn't like you can make 10 videos and you're done. It's like you have supported this organization, whether you were part of it or not, as far as the bad stuff, because he knew I wasn't for most of it. But you supported the organization. And that's how I feel about Scientologists. They supported it too. So they need to do stuff to help other people get out or not join, one or the other. I mean, my best way to keep people from joining is carrying my little cards, and I give them out every day to people because it's got, I say, you don't have to believe me. Here's the thing. Because people go, well, how do I know? Scientology says it's great. You're saying it's not. How do I know? And I go, all right. A, I use the Truman Show because a lot of people have seen that and they go, oh, okay. I go, B, you don't have to believe me. Here's the difference. I can talk to anybody. Bring me any Scientologist, I'm happy to talk to them. They are not allowed to talk to me because they have declared me a suppressive person. And my only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief, who won't talk to me for 24 years. So you decide who you want to listen to, me or them. They go bring them over. Come on, I'm here. I'll be out in the street, say, bring them over, see if they'll talk to me. And they won't. And they're like, Tori, we're not talking to you, go away. And I look at them and I go, well, what did I tell you? So anyway, there you go. That's the thing with Bob. I mean, he's been a big help to me. It wasn't anything that I guess I admitted to him about that other thing, but he's helped me continue for a long, long time past when I would have. All right, now this is a question. What's the best way for someone? Oh yeah, use the door. That's it. That's the best way. And they build in so many traps in your head. So you think you've got to route out, you've got to go to ethics, and you've got to go through this and sign this. And no, you don't. Just open up the door and walk out, and you're free. Are you aware how much impact you have? I can't read this. I have a never in who loves to hear about your experiences and hear you spit wisdom. All right. Well, good. I'm happy about that. I am. Yeah. People have written me for years. I've been speaking out for 24 years. So many, many people have written me the most wonderful things, that their kids are now out because of my videos. Kids have written me and said, we're out because of your videos. I mean, I've had incredible things. I wish I had copied them all, because I should have, but I didn't at the time. And I should have, because it would be a book of just amazing stories from people of how, what one person can do. I mean, I'm here in my bedroom. This has been me since 2008, when Bunker brought over the webcam and said, this is from Anonymous. And I said, what am I going to do with that? Because you're going to do a YouTube site. I said, what am I going to do on a YouTube site? He said, you're going to start a video and we're going to make it. Magoo has a YouTube site. So he and I sat down and made my first video. But I had been making videos before then with him. He and I had made videos, OTs speaking freely and different things. He has videos of me, in Clearwater when I first left, and Magoo dancing in Boston, stuff like that. Did you ever join another church? This is a question. No, and I never will. I do have my own spiritual connection with what I consider to be higher powers, but it's not a religious thing, and I'm not into going to another church. No. Okay, so do they have missions? I have one near me that has a phone number attached to it. Okay, it sounds like you want to join. Don't. Save your money. Go to if you're looking for some kind of spiritual help, find a church that you like, or some kind of group that you like, because Scientology doesn't have it. It's just going to cost you money and give you nothing. And then if you do leave, like me, I lost all my friends and my husband of 27 years after 30 years of paying them. Okay, all of our money, everything went to them. No, don't get even started, because missions are very insidious, because they're very friendly. And it's like, oh, come on in. We're just a mission, and they know people don't like the church. So that's why Hubbard got the missions going. Okay, no, wait, Abby. Okay, all right, good. So you fully agree. This person fully agrees. Okay. Did you ever join another church? No. Okay, now let's see if there's any other questions. Yay, Tori. Tori's voice is so important. I wanted to make sure everyone could hear. Well, there you go. Thank you. I'm glad more people are hearing it. Hi, everyone. Okay. Oh, and here's OT 420. Ha ha. Okay, good one. Scientology. Okay, so now let's go down and see if there's any more questions. I honestly surprised. I've never. Okay, now here's what are you saying? I was honestly surprised. I'm naive sometimes. In my mind, once folks got out and saw all the information myself, I can't imagine still clinging to it, but I was never in that position. Okay, first of all, I'm not clinging to anything. I told you, someone asked me if there was anything I used, and I said a little bit of the communication course. Out of 30 years of training and auditing, that is not much to be clinging with. If you mean the independence, it's their choice. They think it works, and they're sure they're clear in OT, and there you go. That's what I'm saying. Talk to them if you really want to hear great stories about clear and OT. They've got them. Are they real? Not for me, they're not. But they may think they are. They will think they are. Yeah. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate that. That's really nice. You're glamorous and extremely brave. Your purpose is to educate and help us. It is. Because I think the more you guys understand, the more you can be effective. Confident Chris is here. All right. Magootology. Torytology. Hi. I saw him last night. He is great. And you got up in that tree. I'm really proud of him. I think it's in my video from last night. Yeah. That he actually climbed up into a tree. Laura got him to do it. I couldn't believe it, but you did it. I'm proud of you. Her story is so important. Hi, Tori. Question: what OT level did you get to, if you did? Yeah, they have 8 OT levels. It's like a triangle. Starts out, little, and it gets up. And the higher you go, the worse off you get. Really, they cut off your freedoms. So by the time you're at OT 8, almost every OT 8 I know is a wreck. My husband was OT 8 and is still in. I was on OT 7 for 7 years. And it was a mess. I never had a win on OT 7, not one. And it was very expensive. So, but I was 100 pounds overweight. And my attention was on losing weight. And Hubbard said, if you're auditing over a present time problem, something now, like if you know you have a ticket, your car's going to get a ticket in a few minutes, you can't really be in session because your attention is on your car that's going to get the ticket, right? And it's the same with me being 100 pounds overweight. I really needed to handle that. And I kept writing it up and begging them to let me off the level and everything else. And I would just get back, okay, continue, okay, continue, okay, continue. So that's why I hated Miscavige by the time I left. I thought, you dick. Plus he's really an ass. He really is. So I got to OT 7 and there's no gains on it. So there you go. And they'll say, see, she had no case gain because she had epilepsy. That's why. No, I didn't have any case gain because it's a fucking bullshit level. Oh no, I'm late. Good morning, Tori and everyone. Hi. Okay, Tori Miscavige says Scientology made great weather for the Chicago opening. Are you telling me he's lying? I couldn't listen to the LRH birthday speech. Shannon in Chicago gave me the basic detail. Yeah, he's full of it. I mean, if I had $1 for every lie he has said at events, I could have retired years ago. He's a flat out liar. That's what he is. Okay, so meeting was more exciting than Ice Cube at Magic Mountain. Wait, meeting Tori was more exciting than seeing Ice Cube at Magic Mountain. Wow, and telling me to go away when I went to say hi. That happened, Chi, where Magic Mountain. I mean Magic. Oh wait. Meeting Tori was more exciting than seeing Ice Cube. Okay, so you saw Ice Cube at Magic Mountain, and Ice Cube told you to go away when you just went to say hi? That's kind of crummy. Well, I'm sorry for that. Hi. And I say thank you for being the wonderful you that you are. Okay, where am I from? I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. And you should have written question on that because I might not have answered it. And then grew up in Park Ridge, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. It's northwest of Chicago. And I loved that town. That was a wonderful town. Hillary Clinton wrote a book about it called It Takes a Village. And it was like a village. It was wonderful. Then my dad got in. He's a professional football player, played for the Chicago Cardinals. And then in the 60s, he became a broadcaster. Let me see. Wait, they give me two different. Yeah, this is this was the first Super Bowl, and I think my dad broadcast the first Super Bowl. If you can see it, I don't know. It's hard to do it with the light, but anyway, Mark Plummer, bless his heart, he just passed away this year, and Andreas, right together, two of my favorite people. But anyway, Mark Plummer went and got these cards. I never even knew my dad had a football card. But then in the 60s, he started broadcasting with NBC, made a ton of money, and they decided, let's build our dream house. And they moved up to Lake Forest, and I turned into Nightmare on Elm Street because I lost all my friends, and I didn't like Lake Forest. And the rest is history. It's just like, then I went to college, and then they sent me away to a girls' Catholic school for a boarding school. I got worse there. Then I went to college and started having epilepsy at 18. And then my college roommate and I quit and went to New York and checked that out. And then we moved to San Francisco and I became a hippie and then got sick. And so my parents moved me back to Lake Forest. And then they put me in Lake Forest College. And I had a fight with my dad. And one of the high school guys had said, here's a Dianetics book, you can keep it. And I said, really? And so I read 3 chapters in it. And I had a fight with my dad, and he said, go to bed. And I said, I'm a night owl, it's 10:30. And he said, no, it's time for you to go to bed. That's it. And so I hung up and I wrote on my mirror, your morals are no school, screw you. And I really loved my dad, but I was really mad. And I packed my bags and I hitchhiked from Chicago to Asho. Because at the back of the book, it said St. Hill, England, or American St. Hill in LA. So I thought, well, looks like I'm going to LA. And it was 69, so people did hitchhike a lot. They don't, now people are like, you hitchhike? But it's like, yeah, I did all by myself, too. I wouldn't do it now, but I did it then. All right. Okay. Now, all right. So let me hit the bottom thing. Oh, wait, let me just go down because I don't want to miss a bunch of these. Okay, now let's see. With this person, you're talking to Andrew. Okay. For most of us exes, this is the first doubt threshold, and some can't let go of the tech while they have already discarded the organization. Yeah, I guess that's true. I honestly, I have friends that are independents. It's not my thing, but it's their thing. It's definitely their thing. And I don't think they're, holding on to it. They like it. They think it works. They use it in their life. That's the way it is. So I think everybody has a right to like something if they want. As long as they're not supporting Scientology, which they're not. They're very much against the abuses. So we're in agreement on that. Thank you, Scott. That's nice. That was a beautiful answer. Okay. Which one was it? What was it about? All right. Who's taller, Magoo or Miscavige? Definitely me. I'm 5'7". He's a shrimp. He's a tiny guy. And he's a shrimp inside and out. Oh, okay, let's see. All right, here's a question. If they do their own thing with the e-meter and Dianetics without giving money to the church, isn't that squirreling? Sure. The church thinks it's squirreling. Yeah. But they don't care. They're that's a church term that the church made up. That's not their term. And that's not even maybe Hubbard had it. I don't know. But anyway, they don't care. They're using the tech. That's the way it is. Oh, Sharon, that's sweet. A senior squirrel. Okay, walk out the door. Made the tears start. Tori, you are a legend. Thank you. Isn't it so simple? I mean, it really is. And it is something, if you're watching and thinking, which is a good thing, by the way. See, Hubbard made the no to mystery scale, and thinking is way at the bottom. Like, you don't want to think. You should just know. Okay, well, just know. Get out tomorrow. Just walk out the door. That's it. If they say, where are you going? Say, somewhere private. I've got something I have to handle. Period. See you later. And you will. Online. You'll be able to go, hey, just like I did with Miscavige in Magoo Dancing in Boston. I said, I warned you about this. I warned you, you are creating your own enemies. And here I am. So you can do the same thing and tell them, you'll know soon enough. You don't have to tell them anything. That's the thing they really build into you. You owe it to them to tell them something. You don't owe them shit. You don't have to tell them anything. You just have to walk out the door and get free. Get away from them. Okay. StreamYard types out the little picture emojis and the chats instead of showing you. Oh, I gotcha. She's talking about StreamYard. And that they type out the little picture emojis instead of the little hearts. Yeah, that's one thing. But I like seeing all the comments. I really do. And I can do this where, see, I can put her thing there. See, that's what she said. There you go. That you can't do that on YouTube. So that's a cool thing. Anyway, here's a comment. If you see a heart, it means the emoji that hasn't been translated to a picture. Oh, if you see, I see ... heart. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Thank you. I didn't know that. I like emoticons, and I used them early on, and most of the people on the net back then were like computer geeks, and they were like, "Magoo, stop using those things," and I would use capitals because I didn't realize capitals meant you were yelling. And anyway, it was a different time. That picture of Zeno on the card made me laugh. I know it's serious, but that's the point. It is funny. It should be funny. It's stupid. You know what I mean? It's like if people can laugh, that's Zeno. That's one of the many pictures of Zeno. But the point is, that's fine that you laugh at him. I mean, it's not a serious thing. It's stupid. You know what I mean? If anything, it's just stupid. Okay, here we go. Here's somebody who says, Scott, I have studied lots of philosophies and belief systems, but never spent any time in Scientology. For the exact reason you mentioned, L. Ron Hubbard dies other religions to make that his own. Exactly. Good. Well, good for you. I'm glad you saw that and you've stayed far, far away because that's healthy. Oh, now what is this? Tori's literally saved lives and granted childhood back to people. I'm as honored to be here in her chat. Yeah, I feel the same. I'm honored that you guys are here. It's really great. Thank you. Thank you for that. A webcam from Anonymous? Is this a question? What is the question? You have to learn how to ask a full question because I don't know what that means. Webcam from Anonymous? Okay, if you have a webcam, I have no idea what you're asking, Tommy. So you've got to kind of think of the question and think of what it actually is going to communicate here. Because it obviously it works for you, but it doesn't for me. I think it is. Yeah, it is a Class 5 org. Yes. And my friends, they kicked him out of LA org. She was running the LA org as a Sea Org member and got pregnant, and they sent her there to run that. I don't know if she's still there or not. I think she may have passed away, but it was definitely a Class 5 org, and that's because she was pregnant. That's why they sent her there. Hello from North Carolina. All right, nice. Okay, now what's this? Tori gives us your take on the purchase of Town Hall in Clearwater by Scientology. Tori, give us your take on the purchase of the Town Hall. I didn't know they did. I'll have to check on it and see. But, it's like they're going to buy buildings. That's what they do. I mean, see, that's the thing you have to realize is that it doesn't really matter, because the only thing that would matter is if they really started using the things that work instead of the things that don't work. Like these buildings, okay, they bought another building. Clearwater hates them, and they hate that they keep buying more of their buildings. So it's really good for us because it's like another thing that ticks off the town. It's like, I don't care if they buy a building. That's their thing. You can just say, what does Scientology do? They're in the real estate business, period. Well, they have a lot of buildings. Exactly. And have you ever looked into any of their buildings? No, I haven't. I ask people that all the time, and they go, no, I haven't. And I go, all right, well, go look next time, because you'll see 3 people, and that's it. There used to be hundreds, but not anymore. And why is that? Because the Church of Scientology is a destructive cult, period. And give them a card. Here's my card. Go learn about it. This is what they won't tell you. That's what I always say. This is what Scientology will not tell you. Because then people want to find out about it. And it's true. They won't tell them about it, ever. So let's see. Okay, this is Saul saying, I'm not wanting to join, only undercover Tory. Gotta see my community post. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm so happy to catch you live. Me too. Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Nothing but love. Absolutely. All right, here's the question. And this is a perfect example of an incomplete question. Why do? Why do what? What are you talking about? What's the question? Or are you just joking? Anyway, let me know. No, I'm referring to the podcast people. Okay. I don't know. See, it's like, what happens is this: someone says something, and then miles down, they say another thing. But in the meantime, all these other things have come up. So if you don't say, I said to you, blah, and I meant blah. And I know other channels don't do this, but I'm just telling you, for Tori, this is what I need, is a complete sentence. And I don't think it's too much to ask. Just take a minute and write it out so that I know what you're talking about. Because no, I was referring to the podcast people. About what? Now I don't know what you were talking about. And I'm not going to go back because I got to keep going. So you can either retype it and let me know what you're talking about. I'm still looking up words, but thank you for at least telling me half of it. I'm still looking up words, and that's about it. Yeah. I also love demo kits. I do. I love demonstrating things out. It really does help. Tori thinks you want in. Better be careful. No, I don't. No, I don't. That's not true. All right, here's a comment. Let's talk offline. LOL, me doing this on a live isn't working. Okay, well, call me. Call me. Well, even if, or you're talking to someone else. If you want to talk to someone else, that's fine. Well, even if you wanted in, they know too much about me being an SP. Yeah. Okay, here's a question. Why do guys in Scientology take recon? Is that true? Do you mean, I don't know what recon is. I don't. I don't know what that is. So I've never heard of it, and I don't know what it is. So you have to tell me what it is. But I wouldn't know anyway. Hi from North Georgia, everyone. Okay, here's a question. Members with a briefcase attached to their bodies, is that a status symbol? Do others see it and go, oh, wow. Well, it's a good, well-phrased question. It's like, yes, it isn't a status symbol, but it is in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because think of it as a triangle, and you don't have to wear the briefcase on your wrist until you're at OT3. See, it's top secret stuff that you are given at that point. So you have to be an ethical enough person to be given that material. You have to be invited by the top executives to be on OT3 and carry that material. You have to be trusted. It's a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's sort of a status symbol, but it's more, just people, I mean, it is a bit of an, oh wow, they're on OT3. I mean, they must be. And it's kind of like, and there's the big, like, what's in the briefcase, right? And then when you find out, it's so bad. It's like, oh my God. Okay, so when did Miscavige end missions? There is one listed in the city near me. So I went there and it wasn't there. I mapped it again and got a new address. Went there and it was an apartment building. Yeah. I think my understanding is that, long ago, after the Mission Holders Conference, a bit after that, which I think was somewhere in the 90s, I believe. I'm not sure. It could be the 80s. You'd have to use Google and just say, when were the Scientology missions? Did David Miscavige end the Scientology missions? That's one question I would ask. If it says yes, they'll tell you about it. And if they say no, say, all right, when did they decrease? Because they definitely decreased. And they decreased, that I know, which was in the 90s when he put it under RTC. And you had to now report up to, they were telling you how many books you had to send, how many people you had to get on course, stuff like that. And people were like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do that. Plus a lot of the money he took too. So there you go. But interesting. Thank you for letting me know that, Sharon. And, oh, that's too bad, what a bozo. That's his loss, your gain. That's the way I feel about it. It was still exciting. That's what she said. I bet. Yeah. So, all right. Nancy Drew. Hi. Thank you for coming by. It was, that's nice. That's too bad about Ice Cube. But, a lot of celebrities are nice and a lot of them are knuckleheads. Yeah, I think that started when my parents moved from Park Ridge to Lake Forest. If they had left me alone in Park Ridge, if they'd stayed in Park Ridge, I would have had a completely different life. I am now in touch with some of my old high school friends from Park Ridge, and they are, it's so different. It is so different. They're out golfing and stuff, and I just thought, oh God, I don't know if I could have done it, but I think I would have ended up, because that was in their Truman Show. Do you know what I mean? That was it. But they're wonderful people, and they go with Hillary when she goes on tour and stuff like that. And this was when she was running, but anyway, I asked them one political question, and they said, no, she never talks to us about politics, which I doubt. Which she probably talks to them, but they can't talk to me about it. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm late, but I still made it to the chat. Great, Aussie Fiona. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Okay, here we go. This is the niacin thing. Okay. They take niacin, not riacin. Yeah, they do take niacin mostly for the Purification. They have to take a lot of niacin. And this awful oil. It's awful. It's really, don't even let me think about it. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye, Marie. Thank you. She's saying good night to everyone. There you go. Good night, everyone. All right. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Okay, so you guys are wonderful as usual. What time in the morning or afternoon do you awake after these chats? Usually I wake up at 10. I'm a night owl. I stay up late, and then I get up at 9:30 or 10 around then. But I don't usually start talking. I usually have coffee from like 9:30, 10 to 11 and do the internet, and then I start my day. Question: do the blue buildings seem creepy to you? No. No, I know what they are. You know, they're probably creepy to people that have never been in them. Like someone last night asked me, "What is Celebrity Center like?" And I said, "It's gorgeous." I mean, have you ever been in it? And he said, "No." And I said, "It's actually beautiful." And I mean, I was there when it was the Manor Hotel. You know, it was just a hotel, and now they've really snazzed it up, and it's very pretty. And I wouldn't say the blue buildings are pretty because they're not, but they're very functional, and you know, they're not creepy. I mean, to me, they're not, but I was there for years, so that's just what they are. I mean, they might be creepy to you, but you know, it's different. You know, it's one thing. That's why I try to give people both sides, because I think a lot of people just hear all the negative of Scientology. And if you never hear the positive, it's got to be kind of like, I don't get it. You know, like people are like, oh, you know, I can't believe you went and talked to that security guard. And I'm like, why not? You know, why wouldn't I? I've been talking to these guys for years. You know, I've been out for 24 years. I've talked to Odo for 20 of the 24 years. I think 4 years we were out of touch. That's why I was like, Odo. I didn't recognize him because he had the big black beard and the cowboy hat on. I didn't recognize him. So then when I went back and I said, Odo, it's Tori. He said, I know. And I said, Drew and I have been really worried about you. And he kind of smiled. He did. It was very sweet. Anyway, they do own a lot. Okay. No, not here in LA. They own a lot more. They do own a lot less buildings where they have to pay taxes and way creepier ones. Well, crappier ones. Okay. Well, they have to pay. I don't know if, I don't think Scientology does pay taxes. No. So but they keep buying buildings here too. We forgive your memory of obstacles. Thank you. Thank you for being patient with us while we figure out the best way to answer a follow-up question. Thank you. Yeah, it just helps to kind of remind me what the earlier thing was, because you have to remember like 10 or 15 people have asked me things in between then. And of course, I'm thinking about those things, right? And then it's like, oh, this one line, and it's like, well, which line was that in regard to? So it just helps to put it back in a paragraph, and that's just the way it is. Somebody answered my question. It's 4:14 a.m. Well, here it's 1:24 a.m. So you're up late. So De Silva, you need to either go to bed or start your day. No, if it's just 4:15 and you're starting your day, you're good. If it's you going to bed, you better go to bed. Oh, okay. Now wait a minute. Here we go. Tori, my question didn't make sense because you read it so late. Okay. When you hit the blue arrow, it skips older comments. Then you start reading backwards. I know, I don't know how to do it. You give me a tip how to do it, you know, because you obviously know one way, Tommy, that's better than what I'm doing. Because if I read everything, we'll be here all night, I think. So that's why, and the people that are the moderators have said you've got to hit the new comments because those come in. So that's what happens. I go all the way to the top, I start coming down, and then I think, oh, that's right, I've got to hit the new comments. And then I hit the new comments, and then that misses a bunch of people. So I see what you're saying, and you're right. But if you could think of knowing me, not other people and how they work, but knowing me and how this is, I you know, if you have any suggestion, let me know, because I'm willing to, I'm learning, like I said, but I don't want to keep everybody here all night. Do you know what I mean? And so that's why I was, because someone else said you have to keep hitting the new comments, because otherwise things just go on. But good night, Miss Hart. All right. Hi, Tori. Hi, chat. Hi, Alexa. All right. Go. Okay. Yeah. So if people need to sleep, you need to go to sleep. That's right. Asking politely for people to. Okay. So, LO. Oh, wait. LOL, Tori asking politely for people to write complete sentences. Why is that funny? I don't get it. I don't get why it is. Is that weird? I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about when they're asking a question, not all the time. You can say hi, whatever. I've got, I'm dancing around in my room, whatever you want. But if you ask a question or and it doesn't get answered, and then you have another thing to ask, it helps me. Even if I screwed up, like he said, you missed it. Okay. But then can't you just copy it and paste it again at the bottom? And then it'll be like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. And type in the rest of what you wanted to say. I think that would work better. I do. I think that would work for everybody. Okay. You go to sleep. Okay. You were telling us a history. Okay, Tommy. All right, here we go. Let's see. You were telling us some history and said Anonymous sent you a webcam. Right. And you started a YouTube channel. Right. Was just wondering about Anonymous. Did they send you that mask in the back? Okay, thank you. Yeah, they gave it to me, actually, at the first picket. Yeah. They gave me the mask, and I told them on the phone, I was in touch with them before we had the picket. And I said, I'm not, they wanted me to wear a mask. And I said, look, I have hair that everyone in Scientology knows. I can just drive my car on the street and I hear them say, Tori's here. So it's like, I'm not going to wear a mask because number one, they'll know it's me. And number two, you need someone that can talk to the media, right? And with your mask on, you're talking like that. It's very hard to hear. So they agreed. So that's what it was. They gave me the mask, and I have pictures of me and Anonymous and stuff like that because I really like them. I was really thankful. I mean, they really, really helped. And so, but thank you, Tommy, for explaining that. See that now I really get what you were asking. So they didn't. Mark Bunker showed up and said, "This is from Anonymous." So I didn't get it from them. I got it from Mark Bunker, who said, "This is from Anonymous." And they want you to have a webcam and start a YouTube site. And I did. I filmed that day, and we started, some videos on Anonymous and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what happened. And they gave me the mask, just for fun. And I always keep it there because they did truly change my life in a major way. But thank you for explaining that. Thank you so much. Because I would have gone to bed going, what was he talking about? Anyway, okay, good. So she said, people see you with a briefcase attached, know you're high up. Right. And it isn't like high up better than them. It's just you're on OT3. But almost everyone they're working to get to that level. So yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, in the church, it's a good thing. But it can be really awful too. I mean, I'll tell you another story another time about briefcases, but remind me, geez, sometime when you're on, remind me to tell you about my briefcase and having one thing, like you've got a briefcase with the little things and just remind me to tell you about Scientology security on OT7, because that would be a good talk. Really would. You guys would crack up. Okay, you paid a lot of money to Scientology to carry that briefcase around. Yep, I did. Yes, sirree. Thank you for reminding me of that. It's not something I'll forget. That's part of my $1 million that I'm asking for. Now it's 2 million. I went up to 2 million tonight. So there you go. I figured, you know what? It's not enough to lose your short-term memory for the rest of your life and all the shit I've had to put up with because of it. It's not $1 million. No way. And punitive damages should be about 100 million. So there you go. Finally caught alive watching from Ireland. All right, you lucky dog. Oh, I love Ireland. All right, here's a question. Where do they get their e-meters from? Who makes them? And do they check them periodically to make sure they aren't broken? Absolutely. Good question. They make them out, I believe, at Gold, I think. There's sort of a secret place where you have to mail your meters to, and you have to get them checked now. I think they said every 6 months we had to get them checked. Originally, never. Like my wooden one, I don't think it was ever checked. But as the years went on, they got more money motivated, and it was like, well, wait a minute, we can make money with them check. How much you have to check on these stupid meters. But they made a lot of money. I think we had to pay $280, something like that, to have it checked and certified that it was good for another 6 months. I was like, oh, please. How much did you pay to get to OT7? Well, definitely at least $1 million. I mean, it was some of it. I co-audited the lower bridge, so it was cheaper than a lot of people. But because I was on OT7 for so long, I'd say about $1 million. Did you ever use ESMB? I did, Sassy Cat. I did a lot. I was on it a lot. But what it was I wasn't making threads on it. I had already written so much stuff. I wanted to just talk to people. So I was on the ESMB chat board. And that's how I got to know the guys from Australia, because they'd come on there at 2 a.m, which was, the next day for them. So there you go. I was definitely on it. Ah, that's nice. Thank you, Kelly. This is a nice thing she wrote. She's never been in one of your lives. Excited to be here. Well, good. All right. To be fair, if someone goes out to a private club, maybe, what is this? Maybe they want privacy? Okay. To be fair, if someone goes out to a private club, maybe they want privacy. And that has to do with what? There we are, where I'm like, okay. Maybe you're answering someone else, and if you are, you're supposed to put the @ by the person's name. If you're talking to me, to be fair, if somebody goes out to a private club, maybe they want privacy. I don't think we're talking about private clubs. We're talking about Scientology, and that is not a private club. So bottoms up, fill me in on what you're talking about. Here's a question. All right. Thank you for writing that. Do you know if that's the one that we already answered. Yeah, I know the lady that they sent there, so I know it is. Scientology PAB6 taxes in other countries. Really? Oh, they pay taxes in other countries. I didn't know that. Okay, good to know. I know. I thought he looked good too. This person said Odo looked good on Easter with his cowboy hat. He did. He did. And I think he cheered up when I went, it's Tori. And he went, I know. And I told him, I said, we've been worrying about you. We really were worrying about it. We thought he was either dead from COVID or stuck out at the RPF and just tortured to death. We didn't know, but it was like we hadn't seen him in years. So I was really happy to see him. It was really funny. And I guess he's been kind of mean to some people because they were like, you're friends with Odo? And I said, definitely. But it was from years past when he could talk. It's different now. They can't talk at all. I mean, the fact that he said, I know, is a miracle. They hardly ever say anything. Okay, so YRB says, Google says they own over 40 billions with the value of $40 million. Probably true. I mean, that's not surprising to me. But like I said, they're in the real estate business. That is their business. They're no longer helping people. They don't have that. Thank you, Tommy. Okay, you're good. You're pretty caught up. Just keep reading down. Okay. All right. Okie doke, artichoke. As it never ends, we rarely get the full picture about Scientology, if ever. I pin it down to a cult itself trying to be as unapproachable and secretive as possible. The mystery sandwich. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I, you know, I think, there's a lot of information out there about Scientology, what it is, what it isn't, all kinds of different people. So you can learn about it, but you're right. It's a cult. That's it. And they're not going to really tell you, we're going to tell you because we were in it and we know how it feels to not know the next thing. What's the next level? Well, you have to pay for it and you have to do it. And, then you'll know, it's like, yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Cool that they helped you. Cool that they helped you blow up a bit. Now, what does that mean? That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Cool that they helped you blow up a bit. Here I am. What did I blow up a bit on? All right. Well, anyway, I'm glad. Okay. Comment. It's so amazing. Yeah. So amazing that you knew Anonymous. Yeah. Those protests were amazing. They were. It was a huge, huge thing for me. I mean, that's why I always say it, because it was phenomenal. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. I know. Jesus, I can't wait for the OT7 security story. It'll be your chat reminding you. Okay, good. Bet on it. Okay, good. I'll write it down too, so I don't forget, because that'll be a good one. Hello, August. Okay, so these guys are talking to each other. All right, this is the last one. Let me see. There were 2 ice cubes emojis with the private message. The ice cubes were the indicator that I was referring to Ice Cube. Okay. Thank you for letting us know that. All right. So anyway, I think it's time for us to end off. It's now 1:30 in the morning here, and it's freezing in my room. So I've got to turn on my heater because I'm really, really cold. It's really cold in here. I forgot to turn on my heater before I got going, and now it's super chilly in here. So there you go. But anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Tommy, for ironing that out and helping me with that. I appreciate it. And if you do have any other suggestions for how I should or shouldn't do it, I'm welcome to hear it, as long as you explain it kindly. Hi, Tori. I caught your interview yesterday and want to help with the Spanish content. All right, great. This is wonderful. Wow. All right. Well, send me an email and put in it YouTube Spanish, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Oh my God. What is this? It's raining and cold, and I know it's freezing. You're very welcome. Thank you guys for coming. That's very kind. Thank you, Scott. All right. Good night, everyone. Everyone, have a wonderful night. Thank you for coming. And I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. So that's good, huh? This is weird. Does OSA document they are black ops on protesters or PTS? I don't know. That's another question for another day. We're saying goodnight now. All right, everybody. You have to ask me another time. I'm sorry, Joke Smith, but I'm going to bed. All right. Good night, everyone. I love you. Thank you.